Hello, it's Rhea. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, I hope you are enjoying yourself. So, long time no see. I'm returning back with some digital art this time, or kind of like a digital drawing session, I guess. So, first things first, I am diving into a file to briefly show you what I'll likely be doing. It's not the most interesting thing in the world, so if you wanted to see some in-depth illustration or something, that is not happening this time around. I am literally just sketching. Most importantly, I am brush testing in Procreate. So that's why I'm here on my iPad, and I'm kind of just scrolling through some of the brush testing sketches I've done in the past. And I'm telling you right now, you can go ahead and get your fan art crumbs because I will be doing OC art in this video mostly, actually fully. But I did do some like Hypemic, Hua, BSD sketches, I think, whenever I was testing out some of these brushes. But yeah, you kind of get the gist of what it's gonna look like, hopefully by now. It's like some sketches, there's not gonna be me coloring anything, unfortunately. It's just full-on sketching, but at the end I do show you what it looks like after I finally do sketch it, if that helps. But I leave out of that file and I go into a new one, which is technically wrong because there's another file I needed to work in, but I mostly just wanted to show, so the classic library, that is where all my current brushes I've been using up until now are, and there's definitely still some that I'm testing out. That's where the shooting range is. And so I'm still working on that, but the whole reason why I wanted to make this video is because Procreate had an update probably months ago by now where it was like they updated a whole bunch of brushes, and so it's located in their Procreate library and they have all these new different brushes that I've never tried out before, and so that is going to be what we are diving into and testing out. So right here I'm saying 1 sec because I realized this file that I started was pointless because there was another file where I already started testing out some of the new brushes in, and that is here. So you can see I've been starting to sketch my OCs with pencil brushes. So we have Celeste, and then we have Phrase, and then we will have Zode, because who better to draw than my OCs when testing out brushes? But actually, that's the thing, you can draw whatever. Like I just drew a bunch of nonsensical sketches. That bunny ripping out its ears is me on a daily basis. But yeah, like you can doodle stuff, you can do studies, you can do OC drawings, you can do fan art. That's why I like brush testing, because it's like, it's just sketching, but you're testing out brushes and getting a feel for what you like. So yeah, but I'm gonna start a new one and we are gonna go continue on with some pencil brushes. There's not all of them that I could actually sketch with as much as I expected, which honestly is probably for the best because I didn't want this video to be too long coming back. I think it's like 20-ish, 25 minutes, hopefully, at the most. I definitely didn't want to show each and everything that I sketched, and none of it is real time because I draw at a snail's pace. But I still show like a good amount. There's just nothing really special going on here. So actually, if you need something to put on in the background while you do like warm-up sketches and get prepared for an art session, this might be nice for that, because it's giving very much like warm-up vibes. Like I think whenever I started sketching this, I hadn't sketched prior to anything else in the day, so very risky of me to do that and start filming, but that's kind of the vibe that I was going for, so here we are. While we start out with me sketching my OC Mira, let me explain how my brush testing goes. So for the most part, I only need to doodle one thing for me to tell if I really rock with it or not. So after the first doodle, I definitely didn't need to keep going, but sometimes if I do, it's an indicator that I might enjoy the brush or feel comfortable enough to keep using it. After I'm satisfied with my doodles and feel like, okay, I've kind of figured out like the vibes, I write down a couple of notes and then I give it like a overall rating for the feeling of it and stuff. I also will say that I think I judge pretty critically. Like I don't think I've ever... Have I found a brush that I rate 10 out of 10? It's very rare. Like, I think at most a lot of the ratings I give are, like, I want to say my average rating is of like, okay, I'm gonna use this, like I'm willingly going to use this more than most brushes, is probably like a 7. 6.5, 6 is kind of like, okay, well I can use it, but I'm not like gung-ho about it, like it's okay I guess, but there's probably like a better brush, which happens to be like a lot of brushes that I run into. I think 8 to 9.5 is like, oh yeah, Like, this is in my main arsenal of weapons. Which, speaking of, that's kind of why the name that I have for the brushes that I've categorized in my main library, it's called the shooting range, because I don't know, for some reason my brain was like, well, an artist's weapon is the brush. So that's so goofy. I don't know. But that's kind of where my brain was at. I was like, yeah, shooting range. Like, I'm testing out because that's like when you play a game, even. Like, you're testing out like a FPS or whatever sandbox tutorial type thing. And you can like try out and get a feel for like the weapons that you like. It's important, you know, you gotta like be prepared for what you're gonna tackle. So that's why it's called that. I'll also probably explain this again another time whenever it's actually on screen, but I also have the brushes in that shooting range color-coded with heart emojis. So the pink heart emoji will stand for sketching, like literally just like if I just want to sketch, if I'm just focused on like the outlines of something or whatever, that's usually where I'll use the pink heart emoji. If I give it a purple heart emoji, that means it's good for sketching and coloring, or sketching and shading especially. And then the blue heart emoji is like, oh, this is good for coloring, or I'd like to use it for coloring, which that one's a little bit more rare, but yeah, if that, for future reference, if you ever see that, I might continue to use that system because it's kind of helpful. Because you might have noticed a lot of the brushes that I use, or a lot of like the recent brushes I've used in my main pack have like Japanese names to them. And while I know like bits of Japanese here and there, I definitely don't think that I can remember really elaborate kanji. It's just way too vast and there's still so much for me to learn. So yeah, I like that color coding system. Also because it's like easy through association of like color to know, oh, this is like the brushes that I use for sketching, or this is the brush that I can use for coloring. Obviously the purple heart is the one that I'm looking for the most because I love brushes that allow me to sketch and color at the same time, or sketch and shade. Because not all brushes that you can sketch with also will work well for shading, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what a lot of the discovery that I'm doing here is like. But despite being in that warm-up phase, I was kind of pleased with sketching Mira. Like, it was really fun, but it's easy for me to have fun if I'm sketching. Because if you know anything about me as an artist, it's that I love sketching, probably more than anything. It just feels so carefree, and I don't really have to worry about the execution too much. So it kind of feels like the ideas are starting to blossom, and that's really nice. Also, I kind of started winging his hand in the second sketch with no reference at all, which is something that I'm trying to do more and more as an artist. One, because while I definitely encourage using references, especially if you have no idea what something looks like and you want to learn it, I feel like if you constantly reference without considering your learned-based knowledge of the subject, you might not realize where you're at on your growth. It's kind of like training wheels in a bicycle, right? It's like if you keep them on all the time, how will you know that you actually know how to ride the bike? I think it's good to first draw something on how you imagine it be first, and then you can use a reference to touch it up. And that's pretty much what I did here. Like, sure, I had to erase his hands to a bit where it kind of looked like he was flicking us off, which I can't say is not in character, but I just find it as a helpful approach as someone who's trying to like learn and improve and get better at these kinds of things. And a second reason why I kind of don't try to rely on references more, or don't try to spend as much time looking for them is some of you might be able to guess where I'm going with this. Can I just say in general, AI has become quite up there on my list of mentally draining things that I have to encounter in my existence, like in general, right? But even looking for references, y'all, it's so bad. It's so bad. And mind you, this is something that already took more time than I'd like to in the past, because I kind of hate getting caught up looking for references so much that I don't even get to the point of drawing something, because I've already spent like an hour or so trying to find the right reference. But now, when like every other photo I have to play this stupid guessing game on Pinterest because like, well, it kind of sort of looks real, but like, I don't know, that eye looks off, but like, well, it doesn't say that it's AI modified this time, so maybe it's fine, but like the hands don't really, you know, it's like, it's just a pain. It's a pain in the ass, so please, set me free. Oh my goodness. So yeah. After I took a picture of my own hand, or at least tried to make the pose and I looked at it, because sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to actually have to take a picture and do the pose. I'll just look at my hand and form it on my left or right hand, and I'll be like, okay, close enough, I got it. But yeah, I try to throw in hand poses whenever I can, if it kind of fits, but it's kind of like the epitome of drawing a side profile to me, where it's like, I find it annoying and tedious, but doing it can only really help me, so I try to push things through and realize that it's kind of not that bad, and it also makes like a little bit more interesting of a drawing than just my typical go-tos. So yeah, and while I don't show any coloring in this session, I do include the 2 main spreads that I sketch at the end as like a colored version of them, and I think coloring the little angry chibi Mira head, it makes it all the more cute. Like I love him. He's so cute. He's so sassy. Pretty sassy boy, yes. Again, I don't think I needed to do this many sketches to get a feel for the brush, but like I said, sometimes if I'm fairly enjoying being able to use a brush, I'll go ahead and sketch more with it. Also for this, since I knew it was going to be like the warm-up sketching section, I was like, okay, well, might as well draw more than one sketch. So you get more of Mira! Yay! But my verdict for this brush, because after oh yeah, you can see me like writing out kind of how I feel about it. And also sometimes I'll just like straight up do some hatching or like some shading to get a feel of all the brush's properties that I might not have experienced during sketching. But my verdict for this one is that while it's nice, there's simply many brushes like it, so that's why it's rated a 7. Again, it's like I'm inclined to use it, but I'm not a fan of large range of brushes when they're all very much the same. And spoiler alert, that's a lot of the Procreate library brushes. It's not a bad thing because other people might find one specific brush that's special or perfect to them, but for me it kind of made testing them feel a little bit redundant. And that's why at this point you kind of just see me like speed up a little bit more each time because I'm kind of going into doodle mode. Yeah, like I don't even think this character is like an official OC. I kind of was just like going straight off the dome, like what do we got? Where are we? Let's just test things, get a feel for them. This one feels a little bit more fuzzy than the previous brush. It's like, yeah, it's fuzzy. And I drew this cute little elf-like character, I guess, or they have elf ears. But I would like to say that, sorry, I paused because I'm like, can you tell that like it's been a while since I've done a voiceover and I'm just like losing my mind a little bit? Like I planned to say things properly. I always go back and forth on like, should I have a script? Should I not have a script? And I try to do like an in-between, although it always ends up being me like typing out exactly my thoughts when I type, when I speak, or like the exact things that I want to say, like verbatim instead of bullet points. So it's like, what's the point? But at the same time, I didn't write enough, or like for the script I kind of just like ran out of things to say. I don't know. So it's really awkward because it's like, oh, it's been a while since I've done this. So I apologize if I just sound completely nonsensical. Please bear with me, and thanks for still being around. Oh my gosh. Actually, we can probably just like get into more chatty things in a little bit, but I do still have some things that I have written down, so let me go over those. I was gonna say that I think it's also easier when you know what kind of brush you're looking for or what kind of brush you like to use, because I do like these traditional brushes like pencil style and all of that, but I don't really know how many of them are my go-to because I like a brush that, well, I like different kinds of brushes, of course, like as most people do, but I like a brush that can be a bit textured, but also I like a brush that is fairly clean and smooth. And the texture, as you guessed, is something that can depend, like it can depend on my mood, but there's also some that I just gravitate more towards than others. Like this one's okay, I guess, but it's not like my favorite thing in the world. For Clip Studio Paint, I think that's probably a good example because I've gravitated a little bit more towards the brushes that I really like in Clip Studio Paint, and I still have yet to try out many other brushes, but the 2 ones that I really enjoy using, one of them is the flat marker brush, which is like a base one that you automatically get with the program, and then there's this brush called Sha in Japanese, essentially. Like it's literally just, I don't know what the actual is it like a consonant or a vowel? I don't know the specific terms, I'm sorry, but it's like the sha, it makes the sha noise. Like yeah, I'm just gonna let that go. I'm sure you'll see it at some point though, because I really like using that one. And both of those brushes work well on their own in terms of like the lines that I make and setting up a sketch, as well as making more definitive lines and being able to color or hatch, because these qualifications don't really seem easy for me to find, and I don't know how well I can explain what I'm looking for, but I'm glad whenever I do come across a good brush. Like, it just feels very healing. You can also tell the difference between like a brush that you really enjoy versus one that you can't work with at all. Like this one, for example, I was struggling because I'm like, this is not the vibes that I enjoy. So like I couldn't even draw this very basic portrait bust of one of my characters, and I'm like, why? But yeah, like the qualities that I really enjoy in a brush usually revolve around what is it, like the pressure sensitivity, kind of like it's the variation that you can get in the opacity, and then also just kind of like, I guess, the flow of it. So there's some other things that go into it too, but like that, I want to say like the opacity and being able to work with that and build things up, that really matters a lot to me, which is also something that you can like adjust in Procreate, and also other whatever drawing software you use. You can usually mess with the brushes a little bit. I don't really get into that too much in this video, so I'll probably talk about it in the future if it's necessary. But I will say, if there's anything that I change and modify, that's usually the main thing that I change, is the brush opacity, because I like it to be flexible, so I can build things up. But you can see I start to like test out the brush strokes of all these other brushes, and I'm like, I'm not gonna try these, like I'm not gonna draw with these. They don't feel like I need to, they don't feel like things that I'm eager to draw with. So I kind of just choose a couple of brushes, like a few left that I want to work with, and I sketch out this final page of all of my OCs. Not all of them, but this entire spread is filled with OC drawings, because again, that's all I was really gonna do in this video. So the first one that I'm drawing is my little hydrangea fairy. Is her name Anji? I think. Anji? Could have named her Andrea. I don't know. Something like that. I'm so bad at naming. Help. But it's always fun to draw her because it's like the hydrangea afro situation. It's really fun, but I'm also like, how do I figure this out? Also, you see me try to like shade her skin in a little bit, and I cannot stand the patchiness for the life of me, so I just left it alone. I was like, we're just not gonna do it, because it's like, I will shade it like that, and then sometimes I'll be like, well, maybe I can just use the smudge tool and blend it out, but it blurs instead, so it's like you get this weird blurry textured mix, and it's just not good. So I was like, we're not gonna mess with it. I'll shade her hair and we'll just figure out the rest later. But she's always really precious and fun to draw. I've actually drawn her a little bit more recently in my sketchbook, but yeah, as I go through the rest of these, each one I try out a different like brush, of course. So it's kind of like, and whenever I type, or not type, whenever I write down like my thoughts about the brushes, that's on a separate layer. So you'll see it pop up every now and then, but it's not all on the same layer. Oh my gosh, time's running out faster than I thought. See, this is the thing where it's like, I start a script and I'm like, okay, I talk so fast sometimes. How am I going to like fill up the time? But then you just let me yap, and like, here we are. But this OC that I'm sketching or doodling very briefly is kind of newer, but I hope to draw her more, because like I haven't even like officially decided on her design, but I do really like what I kind of currently have a little bit. I want I feel like I do need some OCs with like shorter hair, or more like maybe girls to have shorter hair. I don't know, I need to figure it out. But another thing with these brushes is I tried to pick like a good range of like different kinds, but again, a lot of them have very strong similarities. Like there's a lot of pencil brushes that are similar. The pin type brushes, that I was trying to be careful with, because a lot of them kind of felt more appropriate for line art or inking. I don't know. There's still definitely more for me to like get a feel for, and let me know if you're interested in seeing me try out more Procreate library brushes, but I have to put you on to something new, to something a little different. Like the brushes that you saw in my main classic library, I believe, especially the ones under shooting range, all of those brushes I got from Pixiv's booth, like section, or website or area. It's like if you are on Pixiv or you know of Pixiv, it's basically like a Japanese art platform. And so they have like this thing called Booth where it's like a lot of Japanese artists will sell their stuff, their merchandise, and it like ranges so drastically on what they're selling. So one day I was like, let me see, I wonder if there are any brushes that people are giving away, because materials also work too, like downloads and stuff. And that's kind of what led me to a lot of the brushes that I currently use. Not all of them, but I've started creating like a little go-to pack of brushes that I enjoy using, and they're all from like different artists on Pixiv or Booth, I guess in this case. So that was kind of like a nice treasure trove, specifically for Procreate, because not many brushes I'm able to find on terms of like just someone like linking them somewhere, if that makes like for Clip Studio Paint, it's so easy to find brushes. There's like a plethora. They're always on like the HUD of when you first log into Clip Studio or use it. Like it's very accessible. But for Procreate, it feels like I always have to be running around in the dark alley on the dark web. Not really, but like it's kind of hard for me to find as many brushes, especially ones that I feel like are different or like really offer something that I haven't seen before. So I'm gonna continue using Pixiv for that. Let me know again if you'd like me to kind of go over that in a video as well. I'm open to that, but because there's so many different things. I just realized I haven't like explained anything about the OCs that I'm drawing, but it's okay. It's fine. Honestly, like I can get to them eventually. We can talk about them someday. Some of them you've probably seen before if you've seen any of my videos beforehand, but also, yes, I will address the fact that I have been like off the face of the planet for a while, or at least I haven't been posting on YouTube like I wanted to, like ever since the, December? It got crazy. It got so crazy. Honestly, unfortunately, it really did. Also another unfortunate thing is the fact that I start drawing these last two OCs and my camera footage died, and I was like, no! Like it, sometimes the camera will just like corrupt the footage if I don't properly catch it before the battery dies, so that's kind of what happens here. And I crash out a little bit, but it's fine. But yeah, I have like a minute left to wrap all this up, so hey. I guess since this might likely be the first video that I post of 2026, happy 2026. How's it been going so far? We're about like 4 months in. That's crazy. I totally thought I was gonna be able to have time to talk about like some pop culture things and all of that, like my typical draw with me yap, but that definitely did not happen this time around. So hopefully I can get it in another video. Again, it wasn't intentional for me to like dip. I definitely still am eager to continue making videos. I still continue to post art online and stuff like that. I'm just rolling with the punches, seeing where life takes me, doing my best, but yeah. Sorry, I'm reading whenever I crashed out over the camera dying. But yeah, for the most part, I'm always excited to continue like making videos if I can, like as much as I can. So it's always appreciative for you guys to still be here and still be like, oh hey, she still exists. Yes, I do thank you for noticing. And yeah, let's keep it going for as much as we can. But again, I hope you've been well. I hope you've been surviving. And let me know if you have any brushes that you like to use on Procreate, because I'm always looking for more of them to use. And hopefully this like standard, like this format that I used for like recording the video and all of that was okay. I know it's kind of like a jump scare for me to do a digital art video, especially upon returning, quote unquote, but hopefully it was okay. But I'm gonna leave on that note. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed your time here today, you can let me know by leaving a like. And if you're interested to see more of my content, you can always check out my other videos and subscribe. For reference, if you are new, I am Rhea or Etheria, and I like making art and art-related content on my channel. And while I try to post at some point, hey, we'll get there, you know what I mean? So thanks for your support along the way, always, always. Until next time, which is hopefully soon, thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you a nice rest of your day. I also wish you a nice official happy 2026 that I'm late, and yeah, happy April as well. Okay, take care.